Welcome to the Woodland Academy Trust Health and Safety training session. You're going to see a range of videos that will explain to you why health and safety is so important in our schools, and will update you on what you need to know to keep yourself, your colleagues and our children safe. Please listen carefully and look out for some familiar faces.
Hello, I'm here to talk to you today about fire safety. Each year, more than 1,300 schools in the UK suffer fires large enough for the fire department to be called. Fires not only are a significant threat to those in the building, but they're also a threat to our educational assets. The threats from fire kills, full stop. Threat to life of anyone in the building can also be caused by asphyxiation from lack of oxygen, carbon monoxide poisoning, internal and external burns, structural collapse from the buildings, and crushing injuries due to movement of large crowds. Fires can also result in significant fire damage, including loss of educational resources. There is also evidence of a drop in exam results due to the loss of school days, loss of resources, and the emotional toil of both teachers and students. Thank you for listening.
The principal fire safety order in the UK is the Regulatory Reform First Safety Order 2005. This order places a legal duty on your employer to carry out suitable and sufficient fire risk assessment and to take measures that are reasonable, practical to prevent or reduce the risk of fire. It also places a legal duty on your employer to ensure adequate measures and procedures to ensure safe and effective evacuation if a fire should start. The main enforcement body for the regulatory is the Fire and Rescue Service. If your school is in breach of this order, it can incur large fines.
How do fires start? The fire triangle. Quite simply, a fire needs three things to start. It needs heat, it needs oxygen, and it needs fuel. Heat. Many sources of heat include arson, electricity, portable and fixable heaters, discharged smoking materials, cooking, and hot works by contractors, also known as hot works. Arson is by far the most common cause of fires in the UK, and educational establishments are no exceptions. Around 60% of school fires are believed to have been started deliberately. Fuel. Anything that burns is referred to as combustible and is split into four categories. It's split into Class A, which are solids, Class B, liquids, Class C, gases, and Class D, metals. Oxygen. Oxygen is present in the air around us in sufficient levels to support combustion. These can be increased, which then intensifies the fire. These can be increased by open doors and windows, air conditioning system, oxygen cylinders, and oxidizing agents. If you are able to remove any of these three things in the triangle, then a fire will not occur in the first place, or it will be extinguished a lot faster.
Oh, hello. I was just reading about fire prevention. Given the consequences of a fire, prevention is better than a cure. There are many ways to prevent fire. How can you help? Always report suspicious behaviour or activity. Arson is commonly targeted in waste bins or other combustible materials close to the building. Now, ensure you throw any rubbish away in the designated areas. If you see rubbish bins overflowing, or if rubbish is left outside of buildings, then please report it to your school business manager. Always ensure flammable materials are kept under lock and key. Those responsible for the building and facilities will ensure the electrical equipment is tested and deemed safe. You can help by minimalising the use of extension leads. Do not overload plug sockets, and only use equipment that's been tested and has PAT label which is dated within the past 2 years. Ensure any staff or parents are smoking off-site. Ensure cigarettes are not being left on the top of bins or thrown inside normal bins. This could cause a bin fire. This means the right signs on smoking need to be in the right place. Please look around your school and ensure you agree with the smoking signs and where they are placed.
How does fire spread? Fire spreads in the same way as heat. Convection or rising heat through stairwells or service ducts. Conduction where heat transfers through two solids or liquids. Radiation is where heat is transferred through the air. Radiated heat can travel up to 10 metres from a normal wheelie bin. This means that where possible, waste bins should be stored at least 10 metres away from buildings to help reduce the risk of arson.
In the event of a fire, it's imperative you take the right action and react quickly and effectively to ensure the safety of yourself and your pupils. The fire risk assessment and the design of the school has included lots of measures to reduce the risk of fire spreading to ensure you can escape safely. Corridors and door widths have been designed to ensure enough people can escape safely from the room they are in. Fire doors are used to hold back fires. Emergency lighting will come on to ensure you can see your way clearly out of the building. Fire signs will illuminate to help you find your way out. You can help by ensuring that if fire doors have been wedged open, they are closed. Fire extinguishers must remain in their holders and we need to ensure that fire signs are where they need to be. If you see anything out of place, please report it to the school business manager or the premises manager. Thank you.
Discovering a fire. A fire will spread quickly and it is essential that all people in the building are notified as soon as possible. If you find the fire, ensure you raise the alarm. We have an evacuation policy. Ensure you familiarise yourself with this. It is particularly important that you know your nearest escape route, who you are responsible for, location of assembly points, head counts and the rules around re-entry to the building. Do you know your role in the fire evacuation process? You should never delay to collect personal belongings and you should not attempt to fight the fire unless you are trained to do so. Many people are vulnerable in the event of a fire. This will mostly be your pupils and also visitors who are unfamiliar with the school layout and evacuation policies. It is important anybody entering the building knows where to evacuate. You must also know anybody within your school who have personal emergency evacuation plans, also known as PEEPs, to be aware of any requirements they have in case you need to support their evacuation. There has never been a death in a UK school due to fire. Taking fire prevention and evacuation seriously ensures this outstanding record will continue.
If you're a visitor to Northumberland Heath Primary School and the fire alarm is activated, then please make your way to the nearest fire exit where you will assemble at the muster point for visitors, this area here, and the children will congregate on the field. Thank you.
When visiting pairs with primary school, this is your muster point if the fire alarm goes.
When visiting Willowbank Primary School, should the fire alarm sound, we will congregate at our muster point, which is this area, and the students would line up there. Thank you.
If you visit Knockall Primary and you hear the fire alarm sound, then we will gather here at the muster point, which is on the field across the playgrounds.
responsibilities in law. 1974 Health and Safety at Work Act states that this is both the employer's and employee's responsibility to ensure the health, safety and welfare of everyone in the workplace. While the employer retains ultimate responsibility to ensure this takes place, the Act states that the employee must take reasonable care for their own health and safety and that of others that may be affected by their acts and omissions. The Act also states that employees must follow the health and safety policies and procedures, otherwise dismissal or legal action may take place. If you are in charge of any students at any stage, then the law places you in loco parentis, which is a legal phrase that means in place of the prudent parent. You must consider the benefits and risk of any of your actions. You must know if there are any special needs, disabilities, allergies, behaviour of any student in your care.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about hazards in the workplace. It's important at the start of each day you look around your classroom and identify any hazards that may be a risk to the children or anybody working in there. Let's take a walk around and look for some hazards here. As you can see, we've got some open scissors on the table. Let's make sure they're stowed away correctly. Check the floor for any spillages that may need to be cleaned up. It's always important to remember never to store chairs on top of tables. And check the floor for any hazards such as boxes or pens that could cause someone to trip, slip or fall. Any electrical wires or cables should be tidied away neatly, and any hazards that you cannot fix yourself, you must report to your premises manager immediately before any children or other adults work in the room. And when doing your displays, it's always important to remember don't stand on chairs.
So today we're looking at lone working. So working in schools, we are very rarely on our own in the school buildings, but there are important procedures for lone workers we all need to be aware of. So one is that another contactable person must be informed that the lone worker will be on their own, where they'll be and what time that they will leave the building. Two is that the lone worker must have a charged mobile phone with them at all times so that they can all help in an emergency. And number three is that the lone worker must not put themselves at unnecessary risks such as climbing ladders.
Hello, I'm going to talk to you today about adverse weather conditions. In adverse weather conditions, the head of each school will need to decide as to whether the school will be safe to open. They will need to know if you are unable to travel to your school and also how safe the external access to the school is for the children. Each school has an adverse weather procedure that you must be aware. This can be found on your staff room and on the Staff Policy 1 SharePoint. Please take time to read so that you know what to do if you wake up to thick snow, ice or other extreme weather conditions.
First aid should only be carried out by trained staff. However, everyone is responsible for everybody's safety. It's vital you know which of your students and colleagues may have asthma, epilepsy, diabetes or severe allergies. You should also know who the first aiders are and what actions to take if an incident occurs and how to call the emergency services. Be fully prepared if you're going on a trip or moving away from your normal environment. In 2010, a child died in a school corridor from an acute asthma attack, which could have been prevented if trained staff had been on hand, or if the member of staff had known that the child suffered from asthma, or if they had raised the alarm far earlier than they did. Please ensure you are vigilant.
One of the key areas of managing risk in schools is risk assessment. Risk assessments are a way of ensuring that risk is being thought about and safe procedures for schools have a lawful duty to ensure that premises are safe, but under use of the Health and Safety Act of work meaning that each employer needs to take a sensible and proportionate approach to
Even treacle has a risk assessment.
Hello there, you caught me off guard. Today I'm going to be speaking to you about display screen equipment. Let's think about setting up a workstation. Consider the chair. It needs to be a stable base with 5 feet. It needs a seat capable of being raised and lowered, a back support that can be raised and lowered, and also capable of being moved forward and backwards. The seat should be level where your legs are at right angles and your feet should be on the floor and the back should be supporting your lower lumbar region. Now think about your workstation. Do you have enough working space on your desk? How is your equipment positioned? Do you have items under your desk restricting your leg space? Position your screen so the top of your screen is level with your eyes. The keyboard should be positioned so that you can support your wrists. Your arms need to be around 90 degrees. The mouse should be placed next to the keyboard so your arms are still at 90 degrees.
Working at height. Access equipment allows us to reach items. A chair is not safe. A table is not safe. Desks are also not considered safe. It is your responsibility to find the right equipment. The right equipment would be something like a footstool, a step ladder, or a few steps. When applying using these tools, do not use high heels. Do you want to do that again?
I'm going to speak to you about asbestos. Asbestos is a soft greyish-white material that does not burn. Each of our schools have an asbestos risk register, an asbestos survey, an asbestos risk assessment and asbestos management plan. In order to protect yourself, familiarise yourself with information, make a particular note of the presence of asbestos and know what to do if anyone covers material that you are worried about is asbestos. If you have any concerns, let your premises team know immediately.
Mr. Benham, how do I pick up a box?
Well, I'm here to help you. First, you must think about how heavy it is it stable, and where is the centre of gravity? Thought about it?
Yes.
Yes. Next, make sure you're next to the box. Your shoulders are width apart of your feet. You've got a nice stance. And then you can start thinking about your back. Is your back straight?
Yes.
Your knees ready to bend. And then you take a deep breath, lift with your leg muscles, and then you can start. And then straight back up, and you're finished. And then when you want to put it back down, you do exactly the same. So straight back, bend your knees, and down.
Thank
Lovely.
you, Mr. Benham.
Well done.
Talk about hazardous substances. A hazardous substance is any substance with potential to cause harm, such as paint, glue, gas, vapours, chemicals and dust. These can often be found in kitchens, first aid rooms, science rooms, premises rooms and general classrooms. Using chemicals or other hazardous substances at work can put the health of staff, pupils and others at risk. Schools have a legal duty under the Health and Safety at Works Act, labelled COSH, to ensure hazardous substances are stored, handled and used safely. COSH is a law that requires employers to control substances that are a hazard to health. If you are unsure if a product you wish to use is suitable for use in school, please check with your premises manager. Behind the camera.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah? So
I'll hold
be-
you above Chloe's head.
and I want to do an action. I need all that in it.
Okay.
Don't worry, we've done loads, so don't be shy.
Oh.
Right.
No, I'm
Well, I
going
don't think that's going to work.
I'm gonna be looking
I
over
think
there
you
too
need
much.
to be like
You need
the,
to be
the
there.
light.
Right. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, hang on.
Ready?
Yep.
Lauren, I can see your hand. 3, 2, 1.
That can be raised in no, I've done that wrong.
Asbestos survey and asbestos risk assessment, and it's done it.
Establishment are no
Such as paint, glue, gas, vapours, chemicals and dust. A Stevie's tip for the day. After using the printer, always close the lid, as particles of dust can build up and then interfere with other people's printing.